Hey, what's up there, DSL First? Today I'm going to do a quick video and show you how you can check and see whether you have bent wheels or not. Alright, so I just backed into the curb right by my garage pretty hard, so that's why I'm going to be checking out this rear wheel. But if you're watching this video trying to diagnose a vibration or a shaking problem while you're driving down the street, especially at highway or higher speeds between 50 to 75 miles per hour, I would suggest you watch this other video I've made. I'll put a link to it right here on this side of the screen. In that video I cover what are the most common causes of vibration or shaking issues at those speeds. A bent wheel is just one of the causes. That is when the wheel is up front. But there could be other causes, and I strongly suggest you watch that video in addition to this video. Alright, so next we're going to raise and support the rear of the car on jack stands, and since we're going to have to release our emergency parking brakes, we want to make sure we block off both our front wheels. Next, you want to do a quick visual inspection of the wheel. Now, these little scuff marks and damages to the lip of the wheel don't mean that your wheel is bent. These are just scuff marks and scratches. What you want to look for is when you spin the wheel, you want to just pick out one area and just keep looking in that direction. And if you see any waving in the wheel, then that could mean that you have a bent wheel. But even if you don't, you want to go to the next step. And for the next step, you want to grab your flathead screwdriver. And then we're going to check and see whether our wheel is bent outwards at all. Next, you want to get your screwdriver, put it on top of a box or whatever you can get your hands on that's sturdy enough, and get it close to the lip of the wheel. Just on the outside of the wheel, and about 1/16 away should be a good distance. Alright, I should also mention that when setting your reference distance, it's a good idea to set it at a point on the lip of the wheel where there is no curb rash. Alright, so next we're going to spin the wheel and then watch the distance between the lip of the wheel and the screwdriver. And if it catches our screwdriver, or if the distance increases by a lot, then that's a sign that we have a bent wheel. Alright, now you might have noticed that right here we have a bit of an increase in the gap between the tip of the screwdriver and the wheel. But if you look closely, it's due to this lip being badly scratched. Now this doesn't mean that the wheel is bent. Now if this distance increased at a spot on the wheel where there was no curb rash, then that would be a cause for concern. But since we can obviously see that the lip of the wheel is damaged here in this area, then we can just brush this off due to curb rash. Alright, next we're going to check and see whether our wheel is bent vertically, or I guess ovally, one could say as well. And we do this in a similar fashion, getting our screwdriver and then setting it underneath the lip of the wheel by about 1/16 of an inch. And next we start spinning the wheel and then keeping an eye on the distance between the screwdriver and the bottom of the lip of the wheel. Alright, great, so far so good, but we're going to have to do the same tests on the inside of the wheel as well. Alright, here's our first test that we did. And we got a bit of a problem. As you can see, once we pass this spot, this is actually under the lip of the wheel in this spot, which means that the wheel is definitely bent in this area. Wow, yeah. See right now, it's right next to it on the outside of the lip. And here, it's pretty much underneath the lip. It probably got bent right in this area, got pushed in right in this area. And then the rest of the wheel, again, it's on the outside of the lip. Alright, next we do the second test. And this area right here was the same spot where we had where we believe our wheel is bent. And as you can see, the space between the tip of the screwdriver and underneath the wheel, underneath the lip of the wheel in this spot is pretty large compared to the rest of the wheel. Alright, it looks like I did more damage to this wheel than I would have liked, but it's not the worst bent wheel that I've ever seen. And as far as what I'm going to do about it is just basically I'm going to make sure this wheel stays in the rear. I'm going to make sure this never goes up front, because a bent wheel, unless it starts losing a lot of air due to the wheel being in, then I will have to replace it. But if it doesn't lose air, it just doesn't look that bad to me. I mean, it can stay on the car as long as it stays in the rear. Again, if it goes up front, the bent that we got in the wheel could cause vibration and shaking in our steering once we start driving, especially at higher speeds, and that's not going to be pleasant. So just going to make sure it stays in the rear. Also, you should go without saying that this is obviously not a scientific method of checking your wheels to see whether they're bent or not. In order to be 100% sure, you need to get them down to a tire shop and they can get it on the machine and tell you for sure whether you have bent wheels or not. So if you found anything useful in this video, please give this video a thumbs up. You may also want to consider checking out some of my other videos. I'll put them up on the screen as video links so you can just click on it. Alright, thanks for watching. See you next time.